Last time, we came to the conclusion of the Namek arc, which not only involved Frieza's army, but involved Frost army too. And while we're done with everything on Namek itself, the effects of it are still going to be seen throughout the series. What's going to happen now? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 5 of What If Universe 6 and 7 were one. For the time being, our group of protagonists ends up splitting up. Kappa goes back to the Galactic Patrol, thanking everyone for their help here. As for everyone from Earth, they end up going back there obviously. Caulifla and Vegeta actually don't really have anywhere to go, and they end up on Earth, both in solitude, not just from each other, but everybody else. Goku and Gohan return to their normal lives, with Goku obviously making out of Namek, not just returning home fine, but also returning home without Super Saiyan. You win some, you lose some. Piccolo on the other hand has seen a huge increase in power, and has a new motive for himself as well. He wants to defeat Frieza, figuring out where he is, and he is kind of concerned that he might show up on Earth eventually. Regardless, Piccolo is going to prepare for his next encounter with Frieza, as well as his next encounter with Hit. The two of them are still out there, and it doesn't know when either will show up, and if either will be a threat in the future. They could grow stronger, they could be the same strength. He needs to be sure that he can get rid of them when the time comes. So, what's going on with Frieza and Hit then? Well, as for Hit, let's cover his story a bit. Hit wants to get the Dragon Balls somehow. He knows they're gone on Namek, but since they existed on Namek, they must exist somewhere else too. Although, that's not his main concern at the moment. He could use that in the future, and you may be thinking he might use it to get Frost to come back, but actually, he would use them for a more selfish reason if anything. He doesn't know how he'd use them if he did get them, or if they even do exist out there, but he'd rather use it to benefit himself. He is kind of a third party hired for Frost after all, and while he does want to finish his job because that's just part of who he is, his job doesn't include reviving Frost, just procuring the Dragon Balls for him, as well as defeating any of the people that were opposing them on Namek. And since the Dragon Balls on Namek are gone, as well as basically the planet itself, well, that part of his objective has failed, and he has to accept that. Although he doesn't know that Namek was brought back by Earth's Dragon Balls. But that's kind of besides the point. He wants to find those others and defeat them. He's not going to rest until his job is completed. Not just Frieza, but everyone else on Earth that came to Namek to defeat him. He actually doesn't know much about them and assumes they were part of Frieza's army, judging by Vegeta's armor and all, and the fact that the group had Goku and Caulifla, who are other Saiyans too. Everyone is back on Earth more motivated than ever. Piccolo is training in preparation, while Goku is trying to train to surpass Piccolo or Frieza, in any way possible. He doesn't know how he could do so, but he knows he could probably find some sort of way. And Hit assumes that in the meantime, everyone else is going to grow stronger, so if he encounters anyone again, he needs to grow stronger as well. But it's going to be hard to track down the others. That random group that he encountered when they defeated the Ginyu Force, tracking Frieza, that might actually be easy. There's a passage of time here, about a year or so. By now, King Cold has found Frieza, and they started the process of rebuilding him, but he's not fully finished yet. Although in this time, Hit was able to track them down, as well as growing stronger himself too. With the strength that he has now, as well as the abilities he has, he should be able to defeat Frieza. He locates their mothership, sneaking aboard it, catching everyone off guard, defeating some of the random Frieza Force soldiers that he comes across. And he does this all very covertly. His time skip and all his assassin abilities actually help him to go through this without anybody noticing. And as he goes through the ship, he tries to get any info he can on the Dragon Balls, as well as the rest of the Frieza Force, and see if he can find those other people on Earth, since he doesn't actually know where they're from, and maybe he can get some info here. So, he collects whatever he can along the way. But much to Hit's surprise, pretty early on, he comes in contact with King Cold, who's immediately on guard, and actually isn't too concerned. He's ready to face Hit. King Cold knows who he is, and why he's here. He's here to kill Frieza, isn't he? And Hit says that's part of the objective, but King Cold is part of that as well. And King Cold assumes he's going to be after the Dragon Balls as well. What, is he going to try to get them to bring Frost back? Hit says actually no. His primary target right now is just him and Frieza. Right. Well, whatever the case, King Cold says this is the end of the line for Hit. He could have just lived a peaceful life away from everything, but him coming here sealed his fate. And it shouldn't be too hard for King Cold to defeat him. Especially without Frost at his side, Hit really stands no chance. But Hit tells King Cold that he has no need for Frost anymore. He'll win here. He's more than capable on his own. Alarms start ringing on the ship, and Hit realizes he has to work quickly. King Cold tries to swing at him, but Hit just vanishes from sight, then appearing with his fist connecting to King Cold's chest. And at first nothing happens, but once Hit steps back, King Cold is just then completely immobilized, then falling to the ground. Hit says that he doesn't need Frost as an ally anymore, but he is grateful that he got this poison from him. It makes King Cold a lot weaker. King Cold then tries to stand up once more, barely having any strength left. He's using poison? What a cowardly move. Hit is an assassin after all, and is going to use anything at his disposal. This is going to make the job much more efficient. He punches in front of him, with a compressed blast of air flying right into King Cold's chest, immediately stopping his heart. The poison weakened him enough to kill him with just one attack. Hit then lifts him up against one of the walls, blasting him out into the vacuum of space. King Cold's corpse floats out in space, and much to Hit's surprise, it doesn't actually freeze or anything. He guesses they're the kinds that can survive in space, but that doesn't matter. With him seemingly dead now and defenseless, Hit launches a single blast that completely eradicates him, He knows how durable these people are and wants to make sure that he doesn't come back or anything, especially with how Frieza came back after all. But while Hit did make this as quick as possible, it wasn't quick enough. The ship is losing stability in the part that he launched a hole into, but as he runs to find Frieza, it seems he's gone. A piece of the ship has separated, launching off on its own. Frieza actually made his own escape, with some of the scientists on board breaking off the section of the ship where Frieza was. He's almost fully repaired and just needs a little bit more time. Frieza hates the idea that they have to run, but this should at least slow Hit down. The rest of the mothership collapses with Hit aborted, as he quickly makes his way towards his own ship. But Frieza's long gone already, and Frieza still has no clue who messed with him. He got word that someone was aboard and defeated King Cold, and he has a hunch that it might be that assassin that he faced before, but that makes no sense. That assassin was so weak beforehand. How could he have grown so strong so quickly, enough to defeat King Cold? Even with whatever assassin techniques he has and the ability to stop time, that shouldn't be enough. He still needs the raw strength to defeat King Cold. So, has he grown stronger? Is that it? It can't be anyone else. The Frost Core has completely collapsed. And that Namekian he faced before, it wouldn't have been him, he would have known. It couldn't have been Vegeta either. He wasn't nearly strong enough, and there's no way he grew that strong that quickly. He doesn't have much info, but assumes that he's now being hunted by Hit. What's he gonna do now? A few soldiers and scientists are left with him, thankfully. But the issue is, Frieza has no objective. He doesn't know where Hit's gonna go. It has no clue how to track him down. Not just that, but he has no clue how to track down the other Namekian that he faced before. It's gonna take a lot longer. And he still is gonna need a little bit more time to fully heal and get adjusted to this body. He wants to figure out who that assassin's working for. But not just that, he wants to find that Namekian that faced him before. The one that left him in this condition. Even though the planet's gone, he definitely found a way off there. But he does remember an interesting tidbit of info from his crew. His soldiers had reports of Vegeta running around. Same for Caulifla, as well as some galactic patrolmen. The pieces are there. They just need to put the pieces together somehow and figure out what planet they're all coming from. As for Hit, he decides to try and find the others that fought him before too. He wants to try and track down Frieza, but he has no way of tracking that other ship that escaped. By the time he realized it, it was already too far gone. But he assumes that Frieza's next target might be whatever planet those other people came from too. They each have a common enemy. He'll finish his job no matter what, which also includes eliminating those on Earth. And just like Frieza, he thinks a good place to start would be tracking down that patrolman, the one that he saw before. And also that Saiyan he fought, the one wearing orange, the one who was able to dramatically increase his power and defeat him. Wherever they came from, that must be where they are now. So now let's go back to Earth itself. By now, Kappa has actually been assigned to protect Earth along with Jocko. He kinda did have it under his jurisdiction before, but since he's done so well with it so far, that's a big focus of his now. He doesn't live on Earth though, but he does stay very close nearby. He even tries to recruit Caulifla and Vegeta. He knows they have nothing else going on for them right now, and he did kinda want them to join in the first place against Frieza. He hopes the fact that they're fellow Saiyans, especially with Caulifla being a Sadalan, that might actually make them warm up to him. But it doesn't. At least for Vegeta. Vegeta doesn't want to go with the offer, and decides to stay on Earth. But because of Vegeta's decision, Caulifla actually decides to join. Knowing how strong Kappa's grown with the patrol, she wants to join him there, growing stronger herself. Besides, this means that she doesn't have to be around Vegeta, since she still does kinda hate him, understandably. This will be a good way to keep herself ahead of him, as well as keeping them from trying to kill each other. Vegeta does aim to surpass the other Saiyans though, training intensely on his own. Naturally, he still does end up with Bulma, but he'll figure out some way to surpass the other Saiyans, especially Kakarot. By now, about 2 years have passed since Namek, so it's been another year since Hit's encounter with King Cold and Frieza. As for Frieza himself, he's finally gotten adjusted to his body. The healing process is complete. Mecha Frieza is now ready. It did take a bit longer for him to fully adjust to this body due to the extent of his injuries and the fact that Hit kinda delayed it. But also, Frieza took some time trying to train a bit with this body too, making sure he has full control over it. It wasn't a lot of training that he did, but it was enough to get him adjusted fully, and more importantly, with his amazing potential, even a little bit of training goes a long way. Let's say a few days and maybe even a week here, just to fully adapt. As for Hit, he hasn't been sitting around doing nothing either. He's finally located Earth, growing stronger himself as well, continuing his own improvement, growing stronger thanks to pure progress. He wants to improve his physical strength and the ability of his time control. And one day, he descends on Earth. Just like with Frieza and Cold, he's gonna make this a pretty quick job. Thankfully, this place isn't swarming with soldiers, and since it's an entire planet that he's infiltrating, it's a lot easier to remain undercover. His first target is Goku, the one who was an issue before because he was able to counter Hit's time abilities. He actually didn't get to see the full extent of Piccolo's powers, and doesn't realize that he's the biggest threat at the moment, but still has Piccolo as a threat. He'll defeat them all as they come. He tracks Goku down to the middle of some wasteland, wondering why he's here. From a far distance, he launches a poison dart at Goku, immobilizing him as he collapses to the ground. The poison courses through him, injuring him, but also leaving him vulnerable. Hit quickly launches over, ready to kill Goku with one attack. But before he lands it, he senses a power nearby. Something then catches him off guard. He didn't even sense a power nearby. It just popped out of nowhere. But he sees those other two Saiyans in that group from before, Gohan and Vegeta. Vegeta's actually been training with Goku recently. It is a very recent development, but it has been happening. As reluctant as he is to do so, Kakarot's unlocked some sort of new power that Vegeta wants to get a hold of himself. And he's glad that they can finally see Hit again. This time they won't give him a chance to run away, and Vegeta will be the one to beat him. Gohan's also ready to fight as well, and no more words are exchanged, as Vegeta and Gohan fend off the assassin together. They know his abilities from the last fight. They know it's going to be kind of tough to face him with those abilities, but still, it's important because they know about them. But Hit lets them know that he's improved since last time. Even if they know what he's capable of, they don't know the extent of what he's capable of now. Before, he was only able to time skip about a 20th of a second. He's improved that now. It's about 1/15th, and he's gained a better ability on time control in general, while also going much stronger physically. And Vegeta questions why Hit is even here, and Hit just simply says he needs to finish his job. He was tasked with defeating all of them, and he's going to do so. But Vegeta says it's a pointless task. First of all, his leader's gone. He should just give it up. But not just that, it's cowardly the way he's going about it. Sure, he's an assassin and all, but at least fight like a true warrior. Or was it because he knew that he wouldn't be able to defeat him and Kakarot? And Hit says he's confident he would have been able to defeat Goku even if he didn't catch him off guard. Just like he'll be the one to defeat Frieza. Oh, so that's it too. He's after Frieza as well. But Vegeta lets Hit know that he'll be the one to defeat Frieza as well, once he attains Kakarot's power. What, that Kaioken thing? Hit says that's not going to be enough for Frieza. Not for him either. But also he's surprised to hear that Vegeta wants to defeat Frieza. He assumed they were part of his crew too. Vegeta even did have the armor of the Frieza Force on. But Vegeta laughs at this. No, he hasn't been with Frieza for a while. Besides, Hit should have seen them fighting against the Ginyu Force. That wasn't some sort of internal fight. Vegeta wasn't the Ginyu Force. He was with that other group. The Ginyu Force was specifically after them. Frieza is their enemy, and Frieza is Vegeta's target. But even with a valiant effort from Gohan and Vegeta, it's not enough to face Hit. He's grown so powerful, and his techniques are so advanced. They can't do too much against it. But thankfully, before Hit's able to do anything else, another fighter quickly arrives. One who catches Hit completely off guard, and then fights him with such astonishing speed that even Hit can't keep up. Piccolo has arrived on the battlefield, and Hit's confused. Why is a Namekian here, and how is he so powerful? It's that same one that he saw before, he remembers that, but is he stronger than Goku? Piccolo's able to stop Hit, also throwing a Senzu Bean at Gohan, who then gives it to Goku. But Goku's actually fine. Thankfully the poison was only temporary. He wasn't hit with nearly enough of it, and Hit's in a pretty big bind now. But then they sense something strange. Hit didn't realize that this whole time, he was being tracked by Frieza, and that's exactly who he senses. Frieza's power is approaching Earth. He led Frieza right here, and now Frieza's gonna have an opportunity to take down everyone that was meddling in his plans. Not just Hit, but the Saiyans on Earth too. And this just makes things even worse for Hit. He warns them of Frieza's power. They might have been able to defeat him, but he doubts they'll be able to defeat Frieza. They're going to need his help. But Goku tells Hit to chill out. Frieza might be powerful, but they should be able to handle him. And even if Hit's power will be helpful here, they might not need it. They're actually a lot stronger than Hit's giving them credit for. Frieza's ship lands, and he makes his presence known. With a group of a few fighters arriving over there, Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, and Hit, who actually isn't too sure what to do right now. But no one's off guard because they know that Hit could easily try and kill them while they're not paying attention. Piccolo's keeping a close eye on him to make sure that doesn't happen. And Hit still has no clue what they mean. They're gonna need his help to fight Frieza. But Goku says that he and Piccolo can handle this. Frieza's glad to see everyone already here. This is gonna make things a lot easier for him, even if that Galactic Patrolman and Caulifla aren't here right now. But Goku steps up first, and he says Frieza's gonna be pretty surprised to see what kind of power he has now. He's trained so long and hard to try and surpass Piccolo, and only just recently he found out about this. But it's a state of power beyond anything that he's had before. And Frieza laughs at the idea of a Saiyan trying to defeat him. There's no way he could grow that powerful. And Goku asks if Frieza really wants to wager against that. His aura flares up, a golden key surrounds him, and mechanical sensors within Frieza go off, trying to estimate what this power is. Goku shouts as everything around them shakes. Even Hit is thrown off guard. Goku's hair spikes up and then turns golden, with a burst of ki as he fully powers up. He wasn't too sure what this was at first, and he barely has a control in it, but according to Vegeta, this is apparently the Super Saiyan form. Frieza's frozen in fear when he hears this. A Super Saiyan? No, that's just a rumor. That doesn't exist. And Goku walks ever so slowly closer to Frieza. And Frieza says he doesn't care if the Super Saiyan is real or not. His new body is even better than it was before. Not to mention, he's grown a bit stronger too. Sure, it was only a few days of training, but it's more than enough. And Goku questions if that's really going to be the case. But before Frieza can do anything, he's suddenly caught in a time cage by Hit, who then yells out now's the time to attack, as Piccolo rushes in too. And this makes Goku kinda mad. He wanted to fight Frieza with his own strength, but it looks like he has no choice. They'll just have to defeat him right away. A combined effort from Piccolo, Goku, and of course Hit defeats Frieza. Well, that was kind of a letdown. Goku was looking forward to facing him, but Hit kinda screwed that up. Although, Hit can make it up to Goku. If they could fight sometime in the near future, that would be pretty great. And Vegeta calls him insane for even suggesting that. Hit was just trying to kill them before. But Goku reminds Vegeta, he tried to do the same as well. Same for Piccolo. They weren't an enemy of my enemy situation, and it seems Hit isn't really a threat here anymore. Plus, he knows what Goku's power is like now, as well as Piccolo's too. Hit could try to kill them, but it's gonna be pretty tough. And Hit really has no clue what to think, but he kinda chuckles to himself. Fine, then so be it. While it is part of his mission to defeat them, technically, he guesses it doesn't matter anymore. Frieza's gone, and they're not really part of the Frieza Force anyways, so they're not really part of that objective. This isn't the last you'll see of them. He departs Earth, with everyone thinking that was just a really weird encounter, and Goku's pretty surprised at how dedicated he is to his job. What a weird guy. Out on the sacred world of Kai's, Shin and Fuwa have actually sensed all of this going down. They're keeping a closer eye on everything due to actually trying to be competent here, but also have their hands full, and it seems a lot has happened recently that they need to catch up on. This is where we leave off for now. What do you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next time? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to help with the channel and if you want to see more like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.